Most people talk about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam like he was just a warrior or a preacher. But I'm a psychiatrist and I saw something most people don't. He had this rarest kind of emotional power, the kind that makes broken people feel seen and powerful people feel safe. This isn't about religion. It's about character. It's about leadership. And it's about how he handled trauma 1400 years before we even had the words for it. I work as a psychiatrist in the United States, one of the most advanced medical systems in the world. And only very recently we have started implementing trauma-informed care. We are just now learning how to work with patients gently, safely, without triggering shame or fear. And it blows my mind because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was already doing that, not in a clinic, in deserts, in war zones, with grieving mothers, with outcasts, with people who had every reason not to trust anyone. One day, a man named Zahir came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Zahir was living outside in the desert like an outcast. He wasn't considered attractive. He felt invisible, ugly, unwanted. Now here's where it gets beautiful. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't just greet him. He hugged him from behind and said something that completely shifted how Zahir saw himself. He didn't flatter him. He didn't fake anything. He just made him feel like he belonged. He told him, Zahir, you may feel like an outsider, but to us, you are part of our heart. You matter. You are not forgotten. You belong here. And coming from someone like Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to someone who felt insignificant, that moment was deeply healing. That right there is trauma-informed compassion. Not just seeing someone, but also seeing their pain, speaking to their dignity instead of their insecurity. But what shocks me even more is that he didn't start doing this after receiving revelation. He was already this person before anyone called him a prophet. When Makkah was falling apart in a tribal conflict, they didn't call a warrior, they didn't call a scholar, they called him. Because even before prophethood, people trusted him with his emotional balance. He was the one who could listen to others without getting his ego involved. He would speak without harming others emotionally, and he would lead without fear. One of the most emotionally intelligent moments from his life is also one of the least talked about. Her name was Khansa bint Amr. She was a brilliant poet and a woman who carried immense pain. She lost not one but multiple family members, brothers, sons, and she channeled her grief through poetry. And here's the part that tells you who he really was. The Prophet ﷺ didn't silence her grief. He didn't say, be strong or have sabr. He encouraged her to keep writing, to keep expressing, to keep feeling. That is trauma-informed care in its highest form for grief. Giving someone a safe space to grieve, not just privately, but also creatively. And now in psychiatry, we know that creative expression is one of the most powerful tools for healing. But he already knew that centuries ago. And when it came to conflict, he was the best mediator out there because he wasn't just wise, he was also emotionally precise. When Makkah was rebuilding the Kaaba, the tribal leaders nearly broke into violence over who's going to place the black stone. And he handled this so beautifully because they appointed him as a moderator. He didn't scold them. He did not try to dominate. He made all of them feel seen. He placed the stone on a cloth and asked all the leaders to lift it together and let them hand it to him for placement. That wasn't just diplomacy. That was psychological mastery. Everyone left feeling dignified, feeling seen. And I wish our world leaders today have a fraction of emotional intelligence that he had. The world now would be a much better place. The more I study trauma, the more I realize healing doesn't begin with correction. It begins with compassion. And 1400 years ago, in the middle of all this chaos, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam embodied that again and again. If you've only heard the political version of him or the cultural version, you've missed the most important part. This wasn't just a man of religion. He was also a trauma-informed leader, a safe space, a mirror, and a guide for the emotionally intelligent world we are still trying to build. If you've ever heard a story about Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that changed your heart, I'd love for you to share it in the comment section. Let's reflect together, not on just who he was, but on who we are becoming. I'm Dreamer Angie, and I will see you in the next video.